Hi guys, it's Sarah and I am here again with a bit of a different creative project because I recently have gotten into, drumroll please, dolls. That sounded really pitiful. Actually, I was really old. I think by the time I stopped playing with dolls, I think it was only because none of my friends played with them, so I didn't want to be weird, but we all know that was too late. One of the dolls I was super excited about was Pink Witch Bella. I don't know if you can tell, but I love pink and I love witches. So when I saw that there was going to be a pink witch, like, yes. The only thing that I wasn't excited about was the price. The fact that these dolls were about $40 for one outfit. That just seemed like a lot, but I'm a little bit of a hypocrite because
but to justify this, there is no other doll like this with a pink skin tone and the matching outfit, which is giving me Y2K vibes, which I love.
And also she was a gift, so I did not pay $40 for her, so I have that at least. Please don't judge me. And I was like, what if I make my own pink witch? So yeah, so I picked up the original Bella for about $16, thinking that I could make her a custom witch outfit. Now, just a disclaimer, I'm not the most professional when it comes to sewing. I was never really great at sewing. Like it was, oh, I'm sorry, I just hit my mic. Oh, I just did it again. The reason I'm saying this is because this won't be a tutorial. Unless it comes out good, maybe you could use it as a tutorial, I don't know. I'm definitely going to just kind of like figure it out as I go, and I know there's going to be some mistakes, and by the time I'm done with it, it might be just as expensive, but it'll be a fun project. Hopefully we make out. I'm married. I'm sorry, I can't do that. Hopefully we make something that is, you know, really, really cute. So let's get started. I hit my mic again. So first we have our lovely model Bella, whose colors I need to keep in mind when designing and sourcing. I started pulling inspiration from Instagram. I really like Kiko Lynn's look in the Selkie dress. And then of course we have the queen of pink witches, Glinda. Definitely an icon of my childhood. Another icon of my childhood was Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and this dress is literally burned into my memory. And then I just pulled some other inspiration of cute little pink witch outfits. So now that we have our inspiration, it's to the drawing board. So I knew I wanted to start with the Sabrina dress because I thought it would make a great base and we could build on top of there. So of course I wanted to keep those long sleeves that I think are just so quintessentially witchy. And I wanted to adjust the silhouette a little bit and give her more of a ruffled, ruched, poofy skirt as opposed to the original inspiration, because I just like poofy skirts. I just think they're fun and cute. Next, I felt like I wanted some sort of coat because I really love the upturned collars that a lot of witches have, like Winifred Sanderson from Hocus Pocus, and I wanted to incorporate it somehow, but I didn't want to cover up the Sabrina sleeves. They're just so cute. And then finally I realized I could just make it sleeveless and basically have a vest. And I wanted it to be long because I thought it would look really dramatic. Of course I needed a witch's hat, which I thought would look cool if it matched the jacket. Finally, I thought I would make some stockings that would match the dress, but I really wasn't sure if I was going to be able to accomplish this just because they're just so tiny and little and delicate, but I thought I'd give it a shot. Now that we have our design, it's time to go shopping. So I went to my local Joann Fabrics because that's about the only fabric store that's in my area, so we gotta make it work. I did find some nice sheer pink fabric in a couple different options. I found this really pretty fabric with sparkles and silver specks on it and little pink pearls, although it turns out that those pink pearls were going to be a pain in the butt later on, but we'll get to that later. As for velvets and taffetas, I really didn't have that many options. I found one velvet that was really pretty, but I was unsure about the color. I thought it might have been a little bit too orange to go with Bella's hair. Unfortunately, I did not have the doll with me because I felt really uncomfortable carrying a doll around with me at Joann Fabrics, which turned out to be for naught because later on as I was getting my fabrics cut, the person helping me asked what I was using these fabrics for. I'm assuming she was thinking I was going to make a spectacular outfit for myself or for a child in my life, you know, something really sweet or cool. And then I told her that I was making a costume for a doll. And I kid you not, I feel like there was a hush over the whole store after I said this. And after a long silence, the person helping me finally replied, "Oh."
Flames on the side of my face, heaving breath.
Anyway, back to the fabric shopping. While I did not find velvet or taffeta in the correct color, I did find this really pretty sparkly fabric. I wasn't sure if this would go with the fabric that I sourced for the dress. I didn't know if it was going to be too many sparkles, but then I thought about it. She's a witch, she's magical, she should be decked out in sparkles. Again, I was also worried about this fabric because I wasn't sure if it was going to match Bella's hair. And you'll see that it kind of didn't, but I thought I'd risk it and let future Sarah worry about it, which I did. Anyways, I got my fabric. I think I ended up paying $7, $8, maybe $9 for both the fabrics total. Now that we have our fabrics, it's time to move on to construction. So I don't know what happened to my original footage of making the pattern pieces, so here's just a quick recreation of what I did. So I took a doll and I traced her out on a piece of paper. Right now I'm just doing the body, but later on I also do her arms as well for the sleeves. And then I started sketching out the silhouette of the vest that I wanted. And once I was happy with that, I cut the pieces out. And so I ended up with 2 front pieces and 1 back piece. And the paper definitely didn't translate well to fabric. Everything turned out a lot bigger than I needed it to be. So next time I'm either going to try masking tape to make the patterns out, or I'll probably just make an actual muslin mock-up. And here are the 3 pieces of fabric that we got from the pattern pieces. I sewed them fabric faces together. Also, you'll notice in the first half of this makeover, I do not have a proper workspace to do this. I was working on my dining room table, which for some reason I cannot keep clean. So please excuse the mess. So this is how the vest turned out. Parts of the back of the vest also turned out to be too short. So to remedy this, I just added a large ruffle to cover that up and give it some length. I ended up not making a pattern piece for the collar. I think I just made a square out of the fabric and then folded it in half so it was a rectangle. And then I sewed the unfinished edges on the inside of the vest neckline. This also turned out to be a little bit too big. So in the end, I ended up folding it again and then just sewing that down. I also ended up having to put fabric on the inside of the vest as well because it was just very open. You could see right into the back, which was completely unfinished. So here I started mocking up the dress. That brings me to the challenge of the pearls that were in this fabric. And the only way to get these pearls off is by ripping them off, which creates tiny little holes in the fabric. So what I had to do for the bodice, the sleeves, and the stockings was to find parts of the fabric that did not have any pearls. For the sleeves, I had made a pattern piece. And what I did was, once I traced the arm of the doll onto a piece of paper, again, I drew the silhouette of the sleeve that I wanted, and then I basically just made a mirror image of that drawing. That way I could cut out one piece of fabric, and there would only be one seam at the very bottom of the sleeve. For the bodice of the dress, I ended up just tracing a little rainbow high t-shirt onto a piece of paper, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do about the neckline, but once I had it on the doll, I realized that I could just fold it over and I didn't even need to sew it down. So here's the dress pieces all together. So for the hat, I found some faux leather that I had in my fabric stash. So what I did is I took a roll of duct tape for the brim. I traced both the inside and the outside of the duct tape. And so for the top part of the hat, I just looked at which hat patterns online. Once I had both of those pieces, I pinned them together to make a mock-up. For the top of the hat, I just cut the fabric in the same shape as the leather fabric. And then I think I just sewed them together and then flipped them inside out. For the bottom half of the hat, I took the circle and I cut another circle around it, making sure I had plenty of fabric for seam allowance, as well as making the brim a little bit wider. But these are basically our big 3 pieces done. So I thought I'd try my hand at making the stockings. What I ended up doing was wrapping the fabric around the doll's leg and then pinning it. I had the fabric pinned to the doll's leg. I cut it out in the general shape of her leg, leaving room for seam allowance. At this point in time, I also got a proper setup for filming and sewing. So as you can see, I have a nice clean desk and I'm actually recording what I'm doing as I'm doing it. So you're welcome. Once I had that pattern piece, I pinned it to the fabric to cut the fabric out. And make sure that you put that pattern piece on the fold of the fabric so that there are 2 layers. I accidentally made the mistake of not doing that and ended up with a stocking that was only half the size that I needed. So do not forget that step. And I was about to sew the stockings together when I got interrupted by my baby. Somebody was very tired from the dog park, but still needed some pets and cuddles to go to sleep. So I ended up taking a cuddle break. Back to the stocking. So I ended up pinning the fabric back onto the leg and make sure it had a tight fit. Here are the stockings with the dress. It's super cute. So now came time to put everything together, and as I was putting the hat on, I noticed that the color of the fabric didn't quite go with Bella's hair. And so the original fabric just looked really gray and dull compared to her hair. Luckily, my pink hair came in to save the day. So I decided to test dyeing the fabric out with this pink dye. It worked out pretty nicely. I did give the fabric more of a brighter pink hue, so it wasn't as dull looking, which might not be the best idea. I don't know if this hair dye might bleed because it's not supposed to be on clothing, so over time it might just bleed onto the doll or onto the other clothes, but I wanted a quick fix and I figured I'll just check up on it. And here I'm adding just some last minute details. And now it's time to take a look at the results. Alrighty. Oh, I need my mic. My mic. Where's my mic? Oh, is that it? Alright, she is done. Let me grab her. My pink witch Bella. Ooh, ah. I think she turned out really, really cute. I'm super excited about her. She smells like cherry from the hair dye. I really love her, the way that she came out. Like I said, this was my most complicated doll makeover to date. So to do all this was a challenge and definitely made a lot of mistakes. I really want this dress in real life. I have to pin this hat down, but I really don't want to have to stick a pin in her head. I feel it's kind of cruel. My eyelashes are sticking to my eyelids. It's that hooded eyelid life, you know, where your fake eyelashes get caught underneath of them. I'm thinking that I'm going to do her hair at some point, but I have never done doll hair before. So I think that'll be, you know, a nice touch whenever I decide to do that. I'll definitely post photos of that. So yeah, what are your guys' thoughts on her and her makeover? And if anyone else has done a Pink Witch Bella custom themselves, please let me know. I would love to see it or hear about it. Also, do you guys enjoy this content? This is my first doll video, and I definitely have some more ideas for doll makeovers that I'm really interested in. So let me know if you would like to see those as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing. I would really appreciate it. It always makes my day when I see a new subscriber. I feel really, really thankful for all the ones that have already joined us. So thank you so much. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.